All right, time once again for catching up with Tommy Mack here on the 1010XL podcast platform at 1010XL.com. Of course, on demand as well on the site. You'll also catch us on Facebook. Good morning, Facebook, on 1010's page. And always streaming live on the relevant app. The broadcast and podcast and chat app. So easy to use. Awesome to go to your favorite team's channel like we're on this morning, the Jaguars channel, and hang out with like-minded fans, and you'll see podcasts, you'll see a lot of chat. Game day's fun. Make sure you check it all out. Today's show brought to you by my friends at Microlumix. They've got a automatic germ-killing device called GermPass. This thing, it's an early-stage company. They're starting to get into places. I think our first fitting's in December. You watch out, man. You want to talk about controlling the spread of surface germs with UVC light technology, all patented in a decontamination chamber. Listen, I'm no scientist, you know what I mean? I can play one on TV if I had to, but I tell you what, this thing is going to knock the world on its back and keep people healthier and safer. No doubt about it. All right, we got a lot to do. I was telling Relevant earlier that we're going to go over the rankings where the Jags are at. I love doing that. Now, bye week, you got 7 games to go. Where they rank in points, yards per catch, yards per attempt, sacks, interceptions, third down, fourth down, penalties, and turnover ratio. We'll do it in just a little bit. Of course, we'll talk about the Jags and we'll talk about the Ravens more in detail later on in the week. Look, they're 7-3. They're on a 4-game win streak. We're in big trouble. I think I don't know. I go through the NFL. You see who are they going to beat? I mean, I hate saying. I mean, they can beat anybody. Anybody can beat anybody for the most part in the NFL. I mean, we've seen that. But gosh, I just don't. I look at the rest of their schedule and I don't know. You know, look, I will say this. If you don't beat the Ravens, it's time to see who else you got on your team. It's time to make some moves, make some adjustments. I got one adjustment I make already. But just see, you know, who the players are, who they are. You know, like a Walker Little. Like, do you give him a chance to show? And I'm not saying right tackle. I'm thinking more guard, if anything. And Shatley's done a good job. By the way, the offensive line's rank is huge. They're doing great. Overall, they're doing great. Now, granted, last week they broke down at bad times, but overall, that offensive line's doing great. Your quarterback, as far as not turning the ball over, is doing great. I mean, again, you look at the ranks, they shouldn't be 3-7. I don't want to hear woulda, shoulda, coulda, because I don't give a crap about that. That doesn't matter. I don't want to hear one-score games. Did you see that stat that came out? Graham, chime in here. Good morning to you, by the way, my friend.
Yes,
how you doing?
Good, man.
Good. You're going to Pete's at Thanksgiving, are you? You go there during the year, though, don't you?
Not really, no.
Never?
Well, but I don't typically go during Thanksgiving either.
Right.
Our friends in our chat have just been talking about it a little bit.
Yeah.
Maybe not. I'm not sure.
Listen, I go to Pete's all throughout the year. I don't go on Thanksgiving. That's like a tourist trap. You know what I mean? It's whatever. You want to do it, it's fine. I know a lot of people that live around there maybe do it, but I go during the year. Now, if you don't go during the year and just show up on Thanksgiving, you know, I don't know.
The question, Tommy, is
you're not a real Pete's fan if you do. I'm just saying.
I'm going to play some pool at Pete's. That's the
Dude,
question.
I'm down. I'm down. Maybe this weekend.
There.
Seriously, you got my number.
I'm going to be in Tally.
Oh, snikers. Yeah, we'll try another time. All right, but I mean, can they? Yeah, sure they can. But the Lions just kicked the crap out of the Giants. We had trouble with the Giants, second half especially, fourth quarter especially. We couldn't stop them at all. That's just, I don't know. Like you thought, who didn't have that as a W at the beginning of the year, right? Jets, you got a chance because that quarterback sucks, and what a puss he is. Gosh. You know, it's funny. I'm watching. You're going to laugh because I know this is a little not right, but and I don't mean this in any kind of way, but you know, I'm watching kickoff Sunday kickoff on ESPN. I always watch ESPN on Sundays. I love their lineup. I love Hasselbeck and Moss and Teddy and Rex and Sam Ponder. She holds it all together. I think they're the best. They keep me entertained, and I like watching it. So they're videotape. You know, they videotape guys coming in under the tunnel into the locker room. Well, here comes Zach Wilson. I mean, I don't get up leather whatever. strolling his big, gigantic suitcase next to him. You know, like, what the hell you got in there first and foremost? Why do you need that big thing?
He's got a dead body in there.
I mean, and then it's not even where he's pulling it behind. It's look, he should have a freaking latte in his damn hand, coming into the thing. Just like, he looks so pretty, and I don't know. And then you watch the game. Come on, man. You're going to get hit in the NFL. You ain't staying pretty. He got whacked in the nose. Did you see that? The first thing he did was grab his nose. Did anybody see that out there? Because I always see that kind of stuff. And the tackle was legit, but he came across with a forearm right on the nose. And you saw afterward, the nose was all red. I was hoping it was broken. I was like, man, I hope that quarterback, that he break that nose, just toughen him up a little bit. Goodness gracious. Robert Saleh said, hey, man, there's no lock. You're my starter this week. And he's up on the podium after saying he didn't say it's not his fault, but they asked him. He's like, "Do you feel like you let the team down?" He's like, "No." Like, what, you smug little son of a gun?
You scored 3 points.
Yeah, and you were terrible. He was terrible. I mean, terrible. And he does throw a nice ball. It's crazy. Like, I think physically he's got it, but there's something missing up here or in the gut. There's something not.
Well, but throwing a nice ball that's just one part of.
No, I know.
So many things.
But you look for that first. Like, does he have all those? Because he can heave it. He's got a rock. He's got a good arm. I don't know if he's got a rock, but he's got a good arm. Throws a good ball. You'd think you put that, especially the easier throws, and he's got weapons. I mean, he's got more. He's got Wilson. I'm like, come on, man, you got some good ones. Anyway, whatever. You may have a shot at them, although their defense is good. Our O-line, although very good, have been playing well. I think we're going to have our hands full, but we'll see about that. Nobody likes Jimmy G, but everybody should like Jimmy G.
Bro,
they should like him like those cheerleaders liked him. My wife and I were watching as she just started laughing. They didn't even check out the other dudes. And McCaffrey's looking there like, hey, man, what am I, chop liver? Like, you're not even looking at me. And they're like so goo-goo over Jimmy G. It was pretty funny, man. Good for him.
Bro, I have been saying this about Jimmy G for like 3 years now.
Yeah.
Everybody always just wants to get rid of him. And I'm like, he's good.
Yeah, he does it.
I don't understand.
He throws a nice ball.
It's because
he's got a nice rhythm.
I think it's because in this day and age, he doesn't make those crazy, sexy plays. He doesn't do the Mahomes thing.
Not with his feet.
He doesn't do the Mahomes thing where he makes 100 guys miss and snake eyes it or something, or the Josh Allen thing where he's hurdling people or whatever. But he's good.
Yeah.
Listen.
He's solid.
The 49ers have good weapons, and they run a good offense, and they're physical.
Definitely.
Like they have the talent. They have the talent, and that's always been the excuse of like, oh, Jimmy G's not very good. He just has all this help.
Whatever.
But listen, someone's got to get Deebo Samuel the football.
Yep, sure.
Someone's got to get Brandon Ayuk the football.
He puts it in the right spot on time, and he throws a nice rock.
He's always right on time, very accurate, good pocket presence. Like, I don't understand the Jimmy G hate. I've never understood it.
He threw 4 touchdowns last night. Now, granted, they didn't have Kyler Murray, but whatever. He gets the job done. I heard Steve Young in the beginning of the game saying they're going to be there in the NFC. Watch. They're going to be there for the NFC.
They always are.
Yeah. The Vikings, I wonder, man, 8-2 now. They just got bludgeoned to death by the Cowboys. How about the Eagles coming back to beat the Colts? Now everyone's probably back on Jeff Saturday can't coach. Terrible coach. Hey, great job by Jalen Hurts taking over, man, and getting that job done. Of course, the Ravens, they struggled a bit against Carolina.
Was it 13-3 was the final?
13-3, yeah. So we'll see. I don't know. I don't have a lot of faith in our defense. I think our offense has gotten better. John Harbaugh, I mean, talk about a solid coach. You could tell just looking at him on TV and on the sidelines, he's the same dude every day. You could tell he's like that all week long. You can win with that. You could play for that. Definitely. I think John Harbaugh is one of the better coaches in the league. Like I said, they're 4-game win streak. They're 4-1 on the road. Look, I've been looking back on the year, right? We got carried away with crushing the Colts and then really dominating the Chargers. Okay, now the Chargers are only 5-5, so I'm not going to sit here and say they're the world beater in the AFC, but they were heavily depleted in that game. Granted, we dominate. I think I made a note here. I said, look, I think we got, we got kind of convoluted after the Chargers win. I think we thought, wow, here we are. We've arrived. And then what happens? Philly smashes you in the face. They did. They punched you in the mouth, and you didn't respond. You didn't. And the teams that continuously that do that to you and that have done that to you, you haven't responded on defense. You haven't. The offense, look, you'll see the offense is, and they got to run the ball more. Man, anyway, I'll get into that in a minute. But as far as this defense is concerned, where is that tough defense that Jacksonville has been known for in the past? Not every single year, but we went through it last week when it was, whether back in the early mid to late 90s, to Del Rio's teams. They were very, very physical. To Jacksonville. I mean, just really physical defense up front. You're not pushing us around. You may beat us. You may make plays on us, but you're not pushing us around. Look, I think Kansas City pushed them around. I think the Giants pushed them around. I think Washington pushed them around a little bit. I think Baltimore's going to try to push you around. I would. I'd be like, look, even though we can hurt you with the pass, and although they're not, other than their tight end, who's extremely good, Andrews, they're not loaded with weaponry. Lamar Jackson's the only weapon you may need. I get that, but I think they're going to come in and try to shove it down our throat and use the pass to set that up. But at the end of the day, you're not going to be able to stop the run. Now, granted, overall, your yards per carry is ranked 6th at 4.2. But let's be honest, you were at 3.5. Remember that. This defense was at 3.5, 3.6 early in the year. And they've gotten worse as time goes on. Not every week. Sometimes they do okay, but...
And the games that they've been particularly bad in that statistic are games against mobile quarterbacks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, right. Daniel Jones,
Jalen Hurts,
Mahomes, etc. And look, it's the most disturbing thing about this team, in my opinion, is the fact that we've had fourth quarter leads blown because our defense couldn't stop them. I mean, it's as simple as that. And I don't care if the offense scores 13 points. If you're up 13-10, your job is to not let them score. And that the least that you could allow is 3. And the defense has let us down. It has. So you think about that. 4 fourth quarter lead. What are we, 3-7? Just cut it in half. We're 5-5. We're the same as the Chargers. How much better would you feel about this team if you were 5-5?
With everything still ahead of you.
With everything going on, right. You got 7 games to go. Great point. But, and then take it a step further on the better, the more promising side. What if it was 3 out of 4 you won? Now you're 6-4. Now you're in position for a playoff run. So that's what's frustrating. I don't want to hear how close we are. I don't care about any of that. The stat I was trying to make, that I put it out there on Twitter. 125 games so far this year, going into last week, this past Sunday, were decided by 1 score. So who gives a crap if you lose by a score? Well, everybody's losing by a score.
We said that a couple of weeks ago.
We did. I know.
Because everybody else was saying, well, at least they're competitive. Yeah. And it's like, bro, that's the league, man. Mm-hmm. Just like we were talking about. Watch.
And you said it. I'll credit you. You did say that, man. It's
Sunday.
Smart.
On Sunday at 4 p.m.
Yep.
Turn on NFL Red Zone, where they're whipping back and forth to every game.
Yep.
There's usually like 6 or 7 games on during the 1 p.m. slate.
Right. Yep.
Out of those 6 or 7, 4 or 5 are going to be 1 possession games with 5 minutes left.
It's funny.
That's how the league is.
Lately on social media, you hear man, I was stuck on Red Zone for 6 hours. I only got up to take a piss and get something to eat. You're like, now you get it because they keep going.
No commercial, only highlights. Yeah. It's addicting. Yeah, that's cool. And if you're into fantasy,
which I am not.
All you're seeing is scoring plays.
Yeah.
If you're into fantasy, literally all you're getting is the clips of your players
of your guys scoring and getting plays.
It's unreal.
I know. I'm in fantasy band camp. We had a great show last Saturday night, man. Rocking and rolling. It was so much fun. We did Jeremy for the first time from Pearl Jam, and man, it was all right. It was all right. We need to work on it, but it was still so much fun to do. All right, here's an idea for me, all right? And maybe it's been said out there. I know I said it earlier on social media with our man Jordan DeLugo. So Devin Lloyd, he's struggling in coverage. The coverage, from what Lageman's telling me, can be confusing at one half man, one half zone. Which I don't. Just play one or the other. I don't know. You got to switch a lot. You might be out of position because of that. Whatever. So maybe, okay, because I look at it this way. I say, well, then simplify the game for the kid. Don't put him in those situations. I mean, you want him on the field, I imagine, because of his athleticism. He seems pretty instinctive. He's not like ridiculously fast, but fast enough, obviously. He can rush. We've seen him blitz. He's good at that. He's long, so get those hands up, and maybe bat some things down. But simplify the game for him. So here's an idea. Now, this is just a package. Okay? Move him up, Devin Lloyd, to Travon Walker's position and slide Travon Walker down to the end position. And let's see if Devin Lloyd can rush the passer from the edge. Because one thing we're not very good at is sacks. We're 29th in the league in sacks at 16. 29th. Terrible. And again, I don't care about pressure. Pressure is so overrated. I don't even know what, is it clearly defined? Okay, if I pressure the QB and he jumps out of the pocket and throws the ball 30 yards downfield for the completion, do I get a pressure? Do I? I mean, yeah, the answer is yes, I would imagine. So what does that mean? It means nothing. The guy escaped and threw a 30-yard completion.
I'm so glad you said that.
It doesn't mean anything.
I'm so glad you said that because all the football guys, I know more than you about football guys for forever, have always said the opposite.
No, so dumb.
Just because you're not getting sacks is fine. It's all about the pressures. And I'm like, okay, obviously it's better to pressure the quarterback than to not, of course.
Right.
But the point you just made is accurate, particularly in 2022.
It's not a good play. You didn't do anything.
Particularly in 2022 with the escapability of quarterbacks.
Yeah.
And then secondly, pressures are not just as important as sacks. That's not true.
No, not even close.
Because if it's first down and I'm playing defense, the team throws the ball, and I get a pressure on the quarterback and force him to throw it away, that's great. But if I sack him for 6 yards in the backfield,
right. Now it's 2nd and 16.
All I got to do is play 2 good downs, and I've killed the drive.
Yeah, right.
Versus 2nd and 10 is still pretty doable.
I will say hits to the QB are way more important than pressures. Hitting the QB, I'll give you. You want to throw a pressure and a hit together? Cool. As long as you hit him, it goes on the ground.
But don't get roughing the passer.
Fine. That's the rules, but you still got to hit him. You got to abuse him as best you can.
That's getting harder and harder.
It is, but you still can hit him. Can't hit him in the face, can't hit him in the head, but you can still hit him. You can't land on him. But you can still hit them, and they deserve to be hit as much as possible. And they need to be hit. Because as we saw, even though he's a young QB, you hit these QBs. Forget about it. Look at Zach Wilson. He couldn't do anything. He was scared to death. Mac was a little bit better, but not much. They were after him, too. So, at the end of the day, we cannot relinquish leads, and the way to do that is affect the quarterback. Let me ask you this. Is a batted down pass a pressure? Because you know what a batted down pass is? That means you didn't do anything against your guy, maybe moved him a foot, and you're jumping up to try to bat down the pass because you didn't get to the quarterback. So all those are great plays. We love batted down passes because they're a down. But at the end of the day, all it means is that offensive lineman stoned your ass, and your last line of defense was jumping up, and hopefully I get a hand on it.
It typically means you got lucky, too.
Typically means you didn't win the battle against the guy.
Your hands up.
Okay,
but you're not actually reacting to the ball.
So if those are pressures, I don't know. I don't know. I just think pressures are way overrated. I want hits and I want sacks, and our defense doesn't do enough of that. They just don't, and it's got to get better. So I do want to see. Hey, I don't care if it's 5 plays a game or this game. Let's see if Devin Lloyd can rush a passer, and let's see our number 1 pick, Travon Walker, play end. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no egg on your face if he ends up being an end in this league. Who cares at this point? We want the most productive Travon Walker, not just an okay Travon Walker. And he's been fine. He's been okay. I don't think he's been great, and I don't think he's been terrible. He hasn't been consistent enough, but neither has any of them on defense for the most part. Maybe Tyson Campbell and maybe Cisco I'll lean towards. Maybe, I don't know if I'm going to give it to anybody else. I'm not going to give it to anybody else.
I think out of 44, though, I think we expected this learning curve from Travon Walker.
Aiden Hutchinson, they ain't got no learning curve.
Well, right, but we knew that.
I mean, come on. You're the first pick in the draft. Your job is to disrupt the QB. He has not done
Trust
that
me,
consistent enough.
I agree with you. I would have drafted Hutchinson. But
Well, I don't know if maybe. Now you look at it.
I think we all kind of knew when we drafted Travon that, like, he's got a lot to learn. The most disappointing player on defense is his counterpart.
Okay, wait a minute, though. Wait a minute. Okay, so I agree a little bit to that, but think about this. How many games has 41 and 44 disappeared? You don't hear their name.
Like every game.
Maybe not early, but yeah. In the last 5 games, it's like
after
on
like
occasion,
week 3, like
you
every
hear
game.
it. So maybe not sacks from him, but I expect more production out of him. I expect more disruption out of him. And Josh Allen. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying.
I know, but he needs help too. They all got it. They all work together. He's got to come up with more moves. I don't know what the hell he's doing on his technique. But at the end of the day, it's up to Mike Caldwell to figure this out and get this defense playing better. Now, when I go through the stats, and I'm about to go through them, you'll be like, well, okay, we shouldn't be 3-7, but we are, and that means we stink. In my world, anyway.
That also means I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm
That's
sorry.
Okay,
but that also means that guys like 41 are not making the key plays at the end of a game to win.
Plays, right. Well, let me ask you though. Where's Foley? Where's Roy Robertson Harris? Where's Devon Hamilton?
Right.
On occasion, you hear them. Overall, you're like,
I'm harder on Josh Allen because he's the top 10 pick.
Yeah. Well, Foley was a big acquisition.
He was. That's fair. That is fair. What I'm looking for.
Travon Walker's the number 1 pick.
Because like if Josh Allen was doing what he's doing now and PFF's giving him top pass rush grades or whatever, we wouldn't hate that if he had no sacks, but then with 4 minutes left in the game, it's 2nd and 11. You need to stop. Josh Allen gets a sack.
That's how you get. That's how you don't relinquish the lead. Like, who do we have that on the team?
Exactly.
You think of other teams, you're like, well, I don't know. I'll pick Pittsburgh when TJ Watt's healthy, right? It's 4th down, 3rd down. What are you expecting? You're expecting pressure. You're expecting he's going to get there.
Did you see what he did on Sunday?
The counterpart's going to get there. Yeah.
Most unbelievable interception I've ever seen.
Oh, yeah. That was athletic as all get out.
But you draft guys in the top 10 to make plays like that. And Josh Allen doesn't ever do that.
Nobody's done anything like that.
It's so frustrating, man.
Listen, Devin Lloyd at 20, you better figure him out.
100%.
Better figure him out. But we need, and I don't know, look, again, I've said this before. I don't know if it's conditioning. Because when your legs go, your head goes. You forget stuff. When you're more focused on catching your breath and making sure your legs can move, you forget what you're doing out there. So maybe the conditioning's not good enough. I don't know. It's just a question. Is it focus? They just don't have the focus. Is it lack of killer mentality? Stepping on their throats. Remember that old term? My father used to tell me that in 6th grade when I was a running back. Step on their throats when they're lying down in front of you. You can do it. Smash them. Bury them. Put them in the ground. You're up. You got a lead. We'll get more of a lead. Crush them. It's the name of the game. So where is our defense to step up and do that? I'm calling them out. Let's go. Again, the stats. That's why stats don't tell the story. They don't. But let's go through it anyway, real quick. All right. So points per game. Our offense, way better than last year by a touch. Well, way better. A touchdown better. They're 19th in the league at 21.6. Not great. The leader's like at 30, right? So they're 9 points a game behind. Like to see about 24, I think, with this team. It could be okay with that.
It's not like pitiful or anything.
No, it's not.
Last year was pitiful.
Last year was disgusting.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Right.
Awful. I saw Denver's at like 14 points. They're like we were last year. Just terrible. All right, our defense, 20.5. They're 14th in the league. So 21.6, 20.5, you should win, but that's a really close margin to try to overcome. But nonetheless, middle of the pack at 14th in the league. All right, yards per carry. This is the one I don't get. All right, yards per carry, 5.1 yards per carry collectively for fourth in the league. Now I ask you, what should we be doing more than the other? Should we not be? I know Doug's pass. Look at my Lamborghini quarterback. He's shiny and pretty. I get it, but 5.1. Think about that.
Run the Lamborghini quarterback.
Oh, yeah, you know it. You know I'm down with that. But think about that. 5 yards a carry. 2 carries, you got a first down. Now, not every 2 carries, but you know what I'm saying? Like, do the math. Like, on average, every 2 plays, you'll be getting a first down. You can't do it like that. They load up the box. But my point is, run the ball more. For crying out loud. The weapon, ETN, I'm not shocked because he was awesome at Clemson. I'm shocked he's the way he is. Durable, tough, explosive, fast. Get him the ball more. I think, look, for ETN, 20 touches a game, 15 carries, 5 receptions. You get a little bit more, a little bit less. It's fine as long as you win. I think that's a good amount of touches for him.
That's how
to
the 49ers
get his maximum production.
That's exactly how the 49ers use McCaffrey.
Yeah, he's just like McCaffrey.
Yes.
I mean, in terms of the kind of back he can be, and he's even bigger.
That's the way you want to use a guy like that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that.
Yeah, no doubt. So, and our defense is at 4.2. Now, that's 6th in the league, which is great. However, it was, like I said earlier in the show, 3.6, 3.5. All right, yards per attempt, 6.7 yards per attempt on offense. That's 23rd in the league. That's with a 65% completion. Now, completion percentage today, oh my gosh. 65 used to be the upper echelon. Now it's kind of middle of the pack. There are guys 75, 77, 80. I mean, you're like, what? But that's the name of the game these days, right? Quick throws, make sure your quarterback can make the completion, and then take your shots. Again, using the pass as a running play for the most part. Brady's been doing it forever. But 65% completion at 6.7. Our defense, 7.3 we give up at 63.8 completion percentage. So, okay, tied for 10th. That's not terrible. Let me just give you a little perspective. Last week, now granted, it was just one game, and it was the teams and the quarterback. Not San Diego, I always said. The Chargers and the Chiefs. Mahomes had 9.7 yards per attempt, and Herbert had 9.3 yards. That's whipping it down the field. That's not even just taking shots. It's like the digs, the long throws, they're like 15, 20. Then maybe,
that's having
don't think
Keenan
it's bombs
Allen.
all the time because it's not. And there's a lot of yards afterwards, too, right?
Dude, Travis Kelce, yeah. I mean,
beast.
Nobody could tackle that guy in the open. Yeah, you could have Prime Ray Lewis in the open field.
I tell you what, him and his brother, I don't know the history of all brothers that have played in the NFL, but they got to be two of the top. Like, they had together, that tandem has to be one of the top brothers produced in the National Football League. Not the only ones, but have to be up there. They are phenomenal. All right, sacks, I told you, we're not good. 17th, 29th in the league. That's got to be a lot better. Offense, only giving up 16. I mean, you got to credit the O-line overall. Last week, look, and again, that's some troubles we've always had with Cam and Jawand. They play great or very good for most of the game, and then there's breakdowns, and they give up a sack, or they give up a bad hit, or they get a penalty, what have you. We saw it a little bit last week with the Chiefs. That's got to shore up. But overall, they've played really good football. You look at that yards per carry, you look at the number of sacks given up, come on, man. You give credit where credit's due. All right, interceptions. Offense, Trevor's doing great. 6 picks, third best overall. He's got 13 touchdowns and 6 picks. 2-1. We'll keep it going. He's got 7 games left. Let's see what happens. I think his last 2 games were his best 2 games, in my opinion. Yeah, you could. Yeah, I mean, you could say the wins, Chargers and the Colts, yes, but lately, Because he went through a string. We're like, oh, my gosh, we're questioning everything. I think he's getting it back on track. I got to see more, but I think he's getting back on track. Of course, interceptions. We have 9 on defense. We had 7 leading the league for a long time. Now we're at 5th, tied for 5th with 9. That's come down a bit. Third down. I'll tell you. No, third down on defense is terrible. Third down on offense is good. Third down on offense is 11th in the league at 42.1. That's good. That's good, man. 4 out of 10, you're converting. I mean, you like it near 50, but that's really hard to do.
But something that you just said really quickly. Third down defense is terrible.
It is.
They're 3-7.
Yeah, that's why. No, you know that. Yeah,
that's one of the biggest stats.
They're giving up 42.2%, which is 24th. And keep in mind, they gave up 70% last week to the Chiefs and 70% to the Redskins the first game of the year. So I mean, hey, that's tough to come back from. But 42.2, fourth down. It's funny. Fourth down on offense. So Mr. Fourth Down is Doug Peterson. We're 18th. We're under 50%. 9 for 19.
We've also gone for it and not gone for it at odd
weird times. I agree.
Weird.
Well, I think that's eating at him when I'm not getting more than 50. It's got to be more than 50 to go for it a lot, right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they're kind of near, but I don't know.
I feel like there's been a lot of like 4th and 2s and 3s at good spots of the field.
Yeah.
That we've punted.
Yeah.
And then there's been like 4th and
3's tough. 4th and 2. It depends where you're at in the game, right? Not on the field, but am I up? Am I down? Am I, you know what I mean? Like, do I need to keep the clock going? What?
And that's the thing, like situationally, it hasn't made a ton of sense. I will never understand getting that onside and then punting it on that 4th down.
Oh,
that first drive of the game.
The damn ball.
Oh, I agree. I totally agree.
Excuse my language.
But when you do end up in that 4th down and it's 4th and short, I will never understand not going for it on that 4th down.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just what a buzzkill that was. You know what I mean? You get the onside kick and then you're punting. I mean, what a waste. It was a waste.
And they punt it. Not only do they punt it.
They can't use it again for a long time. Everyone's going to be ready for it now.
Not only do they punt it, but the punt goes out of the end zone.
Right, so they get the ball
So
back.
you gained literally nothing from the onside. You didn't even put the Chiefs in bad field position.
Speaking of punts, did you see how the Pats won?
Giving up there the punt return.
Return.
Crazy.
It was I saw that live.
Jackson style.
Man,
Deshaun Jackson
that kid's
style.
a rookie too. Supposedly he was known for kick or punt returns. He just went zoop, zoop. He beat once he got past that corner. You could tell he's even pointing. He's like, "Hey, get that guy."
There's no
play
excuse.
that was
there's no excuse for giving up a walk-off punt return.
Ooh, bad. That's my boy Brant Boyer. So he's a great coach. Something went wrong. I don't know what happened, but nonetheless, didn't get it done there. All right, 4th down, like I said. 4th down on D, we're 8th, 7 of 17, 41.2. That should be better. But that 3rd down, I'm circling it. And the sacks. It's just not good. It's just not good at all. I mean, come on, man. You've got to make that better, and you got to get off the field on 3rd down. Penalties, I threw in penalties. I just wanted to see. Tied for 14th on the offensive side with 59. Tied for 8th on the defensive side with 57. I don't mind. I actually like roughing, unnecessary roughness penalties. I wouldn't mind one
every so often.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind one
situationally.
Just, you know what?
Maybe not the 4th quarter, but 2nd quarter.
Yeah, give it. Yeah. Maybe, set the tone a little. Not stupid like Trevon grabbing a guy and whipping him down, but maybe guy's just about to go out of bounds and you freaking light him up into the moon, Give
him a nice little shot. Yeah. No, I'm with you.
Nothing like, that kind of stuff. Anyway, I know it's,
You want to make those offensive players think a little more next time they come near you.
Just think of the great defenses that we've seen throughout the years, right? Just even our own. Here in town.
There's never been a great NFL defense that didn't have headhunters.
Oh, you got to have headhunters.
Ever.
Yeah, you got to be physical.
Right? There's...
And same for an offensive line. You got to be physical, man. You got to be mean and nasty and physical. And we weren't last time out, by the way. And Brandon Scherf wasn't, which I was surprised. Chris Jones gave him a licking or two. But, hey.
Speaking of headhunting, though, how about Cisco?
Yeah. He reminds me of Doug Plank a little bit.
Dude.
I love the non-calls, too, because, you know, I don't know.
Those were clean hits, man. I will die on that hill. Both of those were clean, solid, nasty thumps.
I think the NFL, I've said it many times, you got to go to what's deliberate and what's not deliberate, right? And if I'm leading with my shoulder and that guy ducks his head, it's not my fault that he ducks his head. If I lead with my face and I hit him and he ducks his head, then it's my fault. But if it's my shoulder or my arm, hey, man, tell him not to duck his freaking head. I can't stop myself from hitting him.
He's not leaving his feet, launching.
No, I love that kid.
Both of those were good, solid thumps.
Yeah.
Both.
He's got to he could be a star in this league, Andre Sisco.
He's the only guy on defense that came with some violence.
Yeah.
I
right.
loved his game.
You know what? Even the backers aren't violent.
No.
I think Trevon can be violent. He can. He does. But I don't think the other guy, like Aluakin, doesn't come up and light anybody up. Muma doesn't light nobody up. And Devin Lloyd hasn't lit anybody. They make tackles, but they're not like coming up and like all of a sudden you're like, ooh, that was a big hit.
All 11 guys don't have to be that.
No, but you need one or two.
Yes.
Your middle back, one of your backers should be a nasty hitter, and one of your safeties should be a nasty hitter.
I'd like
if you
one
get
at
more,
each
then
level.
good.
I want one at each level.
One at each level.
I want a D lineman that's nasty. I want a middle linebacker. I want three guys on my defense that don't care about their physical health.
I want them all nasty. That's all. All right. Well, so what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? You got to beat Baltimore if you're going to do anything, and I don't think you'll beat Baltimore. I don't know who you're going to beat, to be honest with you. And look, that can change over time. Maybe you come out of the bye week and you put it all together. Maybe your offense still hums, and maybe your defense picks up the slack. You know, maybe you get something out of special teams. You ain't doing an onside kick, I know that. But, you know, that's what I'm looking for. My good friend Michael Cheever, the old center, he'll be in town with his son Alden, so I'm going to hook up with him and go see the game. Be honest with you, I wasn't planning on going to the game until he called me today and said, hey, I'm coming down. I was like, oh, well, then I got to go to the game, I guess. But nonetheless, I'll be cheering them on, hoping they win, wanting them to win. You know, got to look deep sometimes. You got to look in that mirror. If you're not looking in the mirror first as a player, as a person, as a coach, or whoever, I don't care what you're doing out there, and things aren't going your way, and you don't look in the mirror first, you're not a leader. You're doing it wrong, in my opinion. Fix that. Fix that. Make sure, if I'm a Jaguar player, make sure I'm doing every single thing possible that I have to do to be ready on Sunday. I don't care what it is. Whether it's extra massage, chiropractic, study time, watching film, working on technique, getting conditioning in, hitting the weight room, jumping rope, taking yoga. I don't give a crap. That's your job. And like I've said many a times
Going to
here.
Pete's.
Huh?
Going to Pete's.
Go to Pete's on Thursday nights. It's okay. You'll be ready by Sunday. It's not a big deal. Trust me, I did it. And Friday night. You know, I often think if I only cut it in half, who would have, you know what I mean? If I didn't go out 4 nights a week and I only went out twice, like Thursday and Sunday, instead of Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. Never went out Tuesday because Wednesday was a tough day. I shouldn't say never, but most of the time. But yeah, you know, you can go to Pete's on occasion. All you people can go there on Thanksgiving too, even if you don't go into Pete's during the year. It's okay. It's okay. Everyone's welcome, right? Everybody welcome at the table. All right, that's going to do it for me. Hey, listen, before I end the show, and I know I'm long, happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there, man. I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving, and I hope those that don't have family around, that don't have friends around, whatever, that they can find some peace, they can find some grace, you know what I mean, and be okay, because I know it can be lonely out there, and hopefully, I'll tell you this, me and Graham were walking, with one of the guys here's young guy, he's like, oh, my family's out. I said, go out, there'll be people out on Thanksgiving, do it, go out, and I told him to pick something up, and I could have meant food, you never know. Coming out of this mouth, but he's a young guy. Like, go have some fun, man. Don't sit around, being by yourself. Go do something if you can.
Atlantic Beach, Jax Beach.
Oh, it'll be rocking. I may even sneak out. I got to go to this big family party. They'll be like, where's Tom? Oh, he checked out a little while ago. He didn't want to disrupt anything, so he just snuck. No, I'm kidding. Maybe once the kids go home. We'll see how it goes. All right, that's going to do it to me. But hey, really, seriously, have a great Thanksgiving to each and every one each and every one of you out there. I appreciate you tuning in to Catching Up with Tommy Mack. So until next time, stay safe and be cool out there. We'll see you right here on Catching Up with Tommy Mack. Peace.